And we should be live, yeah. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Tressa's Collectibles live stream here with the entire team. Myself, I am Mike, here alongside Simu and Randall. How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Hey yo.
Oh, echo. You need to turn that off.
Hold on. Let me get some earphones.
No. It's
Hmm?
it's not headphones. It's you. Oh wait, no. Sorry, that's me. My bad. Never mind. I'm stupid.
So, is there echo?
No. It's me. I'm just dumb.
Okay, I will. No, we're always gonna have these kind of sound things. So let us know how it is in chat. If anyone's mic levels need to be adjusted at all. Speak now, or speak later.
Yeah, don't worry. That was just me being Bakayaro.
You had the stream volume on.
Maybe. Maybe.
Alright, so we'll just carry on then, and then if there's any issues, we'll go ahead and just solve it.
You post this in where'd you post the stream?
I put
Twitter
it on
in
Facebook. Can you? I guess you share it in the Discord if you can, Simo.
I put it in hours. I put it in hours already.
Okay, I'll share it around
And
a bit.
then I put it in card games.
Oh, sounds good.
Oh, nice. Okay, card games is good.
I don't know where's the White Shorts TCG one.
Yeah, I'm doing that one right now.
Okay.
I wish I could have met Mike, Randall, and Simo. Just weren't honest enough. Oh,
Oh, he did.
who did?
Wait, what happened?
Randall did?
Randall died.
Oh.
Yo, you okay?
I love Discord.
Oh yeah.
Did one of those like hard resets? Or just logs you off for no reason?
That was
Yep.
interesting.
Okay. But yeah, in case anyone missed it, Worlds was this weekend. Actually pretty close to where we all live in Southern California at the LA Convention Center. So this past Saturday, we all went in some official capacity. Randall was, as you guys know, the official commentator, one of the official commentators for WISE. Simu qualified to be a player for Worlds. You remember that you have to, in the past, BCS circuit, place in top 3 at any of the regional events. And if you place top 3, you get an invite to Worlds. So Simu placed second at Anaheim Regionals, which did allow him to get his ticket to Worlds. And I was media. And I did some live streams with Alex Hodges where we did some box breaking. But otherwise, I was just around to support my two friends and have a good time. Okay. So let's take a look at what goodies Simu and Randall got. So there's this nice World Finalist playmat with Shioka on it. I think, honestly, this is probably one of my favorite Worlds playmats. Probably my favorite Worlds playmats. Because I think the previous ones, they had like a bunch of Vanguard things on it. I think there was another Shioka Worlds one. But I think this one looks really clean in particular.
Yeah, I would say that this isn't just my favorite like Worlds finalist playmat. I think this would be my favorite just like Shioko playmat in general. Because there's like a bunch of them, and I just think like this one has just like the best aesthetic between the two sides, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this is probably my second favorite. It's hard to beat Shioko sitting on the throne for me. Like that art is just so goated, but this one's great because it's like nice. It's black and white, so it kind of fits Weiss more than Vanguard. I actually heard some Vanguard players complain that the mat was like, it felt more like a Weiss mat than a Vanguard mat. But as a Weiss player, not complaining.
Yeah, I think the background really does it for me. I really love the black and white contrast, so that was a big positive on my end. And then alongside that, he got the Toru entry promo, as well as obviously the regular promos that you get, that anyone could get, but just by coming. So we have the Eren, Attack on Titan one, the Chainsaw Man, and the Kobayashi. These three were given out at various events previously, such as Anime Expo and various conventions. But I think the Avatar one is one of the new ones, Team Avatar. So this is a very nice snack for us before the release of Avatar this summer.
I'm pretty sure that one's old too,
Oh,
because I
Avatar?
remember seeing it. Yeah, I remember seeing that around. Or at least maybe not the card itself, but I definitely remember seeing the design like months ago, and then all of us were like, I hope this isn't what the entire set is gonna look like.
Oh, okay.
So that's definitely been around for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they leaked the card as like a PR you could get at events, but I think this is the first event they're giving it out at.
Yeah, not sure. At the very least, this is the first time that we, I think, have gotten it locally here in California. So, as a big Avatar fan myself, I've definitely liked quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then here are the champion promos. I think this is pretty cool. These are basically one-of-ones, I believe. I don't think we've had one-of-ones before where like it's only like the champion gets the one copy in existence. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but previous Worlds, I don't think you got an exclusive card for winning, right?
Not that I remember.
Yeah, all I remember is that all the Worlds competitors would get like the Worlds entry promo. Like the Sakura, Goblin Slayer, other Sakura, etc. I think they just got like a trophy or something. So this is, as far as I know, the first time that if you won the actual World Finals, you got something extra. So we have the Hololive Zero generation there, and then these 3 other Vanguard ones, one for each format. So like, you guys play Vanguard. Or are at the very least in the know about Vanguard. Are these ones like super cool in particular? Or anything here is like super stand out?
So I can speak on this one. So
Okay.
this is where Vanguard players ate good compared to Weiss players. Because for the mat, obviously, I think Weiss players were more happy. But for these PRs, so the Vanguard cards here have no text. So it's kind of like the Proseka VR series where there's no text. But these cards actually have like, full length text, and you would have to like have a reference card. But it's really cool that it's like just full art, no text, but they're still playable. Yeah. It's actually the first time Vanguard has ever gotten these cards. They were very confused that they had no text. But I think that's cool. And then the Hololive one is like, what is this card? Like, why this card?
I was told by the Vanguard people that these cards having no text is actually they do nothing. Like, if you look in the bottom left of the Leonore and the Omega Glendios, it says normal unit. They actually don't have text.
Wait. Oh, these are not VRs?
They are not VRs. They are actually just full art, no text. They do nothing. They are
so it's
vanillas.
like if you technically did want to play with these cards in your deck, it's just they're vanillas.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, these are normal. So do they have the same name as like the?
They have the same name. Yeah, it's like Star Vader, Omega Glendios, and like same name. But like literally, you can literally look in the bottom left corner and it says normal unit.
That's crazy.
No, wait, no, normal unit that's what it's like. Normal unit versus trigger unit.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Huh?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this works like VRs, where like you can play them and then you use a reference card.
Okay, even then, I was like still at least told by people that like they do nothing. Like that they are vanillas. Like I went into like Orange's stream and like I was like, oh yeah, so are these vanillas? And people were like, yeah, they're vanillas. So.
Okay, no, the reason why people are saying they're vanillas is because Vanguard hasn't had cards like this yet. And so you know how like Weiss comprehensive rules have like the section for Proseka saying like, oh, here's what you do with cards that have no text. Since this is the first time Vanguard's gotten these cards, Vanguard players have no idea what's
so they
happening.
just need to update the comprehensive rules for Vanguard then. That's basically
I'm assuming they need to do that, and once they do that, these will behave like the Proseka VRs.
Yeah. These look really nice though, especially that really shiny waifu one. I imagine.
Oh, Leonore.
Leonore
is great.
Okay.
So the funny thing about these cards though is that I think for Glendios specifically, the text is like half the card. So like the fact that it has no text is
that's cracked.
Kind of a meme because if it actually had text, you would
you can actually see the art for the first time.
Right, which is really cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like I know Mike doesn't play Vanguard, but like this is a card that so like they print cards that existed previously in Vanguard in like previous seasons, and so this is one of those cards where they brought it back. And basically all incarnations of this card that have ever existed have been like an Exodia win condition. And so that's why the text is literally over half the card.
Oh, I see. So it's like
Yeah.
pretty iconic then.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very very iconic for its time. It was like I think this was the second Exodia win condition
win?
in game. Yeah, auto win. Second auto win in the entire game. Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, these are definitely cool. But yeah, the Hololive one actually having the text, they
Kinda
could
slow.
have gone the extra mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
kind
why-
of
Made
kind
it
of
cool.
awkward. Kinda
Especially
weird.
when the Vanguard players got it, right? Like, why
Yeah.
couldn't we, man?
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the actual tournament first. And we'll start with Simu and talk about his choice going into Worlds. Now, we know that Simu qualified for Worlds during regionals with Tokyo Revengers dual laner Pachin. And this was basically the same meta, up excluding the fact that Seven Deadly Sins would be the first time that or Worlds would be the first time that Seven Deadly Sins is legal for tournament play. So can you tell us a bit about why you chose to go with what you brought here?
Right. So I think a big question is like, why didn't I run back Tokyo Revengers? And honestly, I was still considering running it back, but Anaheim kind of showed me that that deck is pretty volatile, and in high pressure situations, the deck falling apart means that you just liable to have bad games. Like, especially like after the tournament, I was doing like the recap streams, and I was really thinking back on the entire run, and I lost two of like my favorable winning matchups against Quince, and had they been like at other times of the tournament, I could have just been out. So I didn't really want to. I didn't want to risk it. It's just a very volatile deck that just sometimes implodes. You can't do anything about it. And then Seven Deadly Sins came out, so I was looking at Seven Deadly Sins as a potential set to bring in. You just get an advantage for using new cards that people have never seen before and are relatively untested against. And if there was a deck that did well into the current meta, I think I would have favored it over running back Tokyo Revengers. So we tested a lot, mostly Mike. Really huge shout out to Mike for testing a lot of Seven Deadly Sins builds, because I didn't have access to the cards yet. And so in our testing, we found out that 6 standby, 2 choice was very favorable into Hololive, Quince, and AOT, which was the current meta outside of obviously Seven Deadly Sins. And yeah. And so I think just seeing how well it did in those matchups made me want to pick up the deck. The deck does better in those matchups than Tokyo Revengers, I would say. Like, it's really shocking. So yeah, I played 2 Quince players. I basically destroyed them. It was like very not close. And that was with me being kind of unlucky in one of the games as well, too. So yeah, this deck definitely did its job in terms of taking down Quince and Hololive, but then did not do so well against Escanor.
Yeah.
Well, that is what it is.
So
Yeah.
in hindsight, do you think you would have brought something else?
So going into the tournament, I expected it to mostly still be Quince Hololive AOT. And I didn't expect that many people to jump onto the Seven Deadly Sins boat. And it turned out a lot of people jumped onto Seven Deadly Sins, specifically the Escanor build. And the Escanor build is like this weird build where like I talk a little bit about it in the stream I did where I was reviewing my match against Yarbacher in round 6, but the matchup is very much dependent on who gets ahead and who can maintain a damage lead, because the player with the more turns gets the better setup, and the player with the better setup is able to deny the opponent their tools, right? It's like actually a very even in terms of like both sides can deny part of the other side's game plan, and both sides have tools to do that, right? And so, but it's kind of rough because they have the 2-soul trigger and I don't, which means that they are liable to just like dome me for like 4, and if I don't cancel that 4, it's a real struggle for me to catch back up, right? So I think because of that, the matchup is slightly unfavored.
Yeah.
And
it really seems to me that in that particular matchup, the Escanor build versus the standby build. It all really comes down to what happens within like the first, I would say, like 2 turns. Specifically, in terms of the damage that the standby deck takes. Because this particular standby build has the ability to just hyper cycle through its deck if needed, but it really needs the prerequisite cards at level 0 and to have like a pretty decent opening hand. So like we saw in your stream match against Christian, you basically took a crit trigger turn 1, and then you took like another crit trigger turn 2, and you just took a level a turn. But like let's say like if things were a bit more passive, and you could basically like this deck has the ability to refresh like turn 2 if it wanted to.
Right.
But like obviously you need like the right pieces and a decent amount of luck. But it seems like because the Escanor build has the ability to push damage so easily because they are so incentivized to play a stock soul every turn alongside the 2 soul triggers. If they can get those big pockets of damage in early, then you're in a really rough spot. But then conversely, if you can get your deck state in a good enough position, they're not going to win board like ever, right? And then you can start pushing a really big advantage after that.
Right. And so like if I get those extra turns and I can stabilize, then it actually becomes a very big struggle for them. Because then they're losing board, then I'm directing, and then now they're on the back foot in terms of damage. And then I have the pieces to deny bounce, so they need to go for double bounce, and I still have like counters for the other, so they can't really kill me. So yeah, it's actually a very even matchup, but it snowballs one way or the other pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I would sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Also, I feel like the 2-1 definitely seem to be like the nail in the coffin. If you can secure the 2-1 on the board with your 3-2s, it kind of just like takes away any chance that they have of creating big swings into their late game.
Yeah, talking
so
about
like we saw in your game.
Elizabeth support, right?
Yeah, so like we saw in your game, like the 2-1, like obviously it doesn't affect the anti-burn at all because Escanors aren't actually doing burn damage, but the ability to turn off the bounces, especially with the way that Yarwalker was playing the deck, where he plays for 3 copies of Gil Thunder bounce, and then like you can go for a double bounce instead of running the 1/1 Merlin support that we were testing previously. It seems like that's a really prevalent part of his game plan, and being able to secure the 2-1 seems like a pretty important countermeasure if you can afford to incorporate that into your game plan.
Yeah, so I think, hindsight 2020, I would still probably take this deck, but I think I would have probably prepared a more targeted strategy against the Escanor had I known that matchup was going to be so
because
ubiquitous.
Based on what we know, there were like 6 or 7 Deadly Sins players total in the 50-some players that went to Worlds, and they were all Escanor except for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I got really unlucky because I played 3 of them in Swiss, okay? Like, what? That's actual bullshit. Dude, if I just played more Quints, I would have. That was like the easiest top 8 of my life.
I recall
But
when
I
we were at the venue, and then we found out what the finals was, and it was a Quints mirror, and then you were just like, I'm upset.
I was very upset, yeah. So I think at the end, right, like, there's so many Escanors, but if I had just played more non-Escanor players, I think I would have done fine. Like, this deck actually just has a winning matchup against anything else in the English meta. Maybe not against Danmachi. It's like even against Danmachi, but I still think it's a great deck. I think if I knew I was going to play that many Escanor, I would have developed a more concrete game plan for Escanor that probably involves getting the 2-1 out a little earlier than or securing it in hand a little bit more proactively. But honestly, otherwise, no, I still think this deck is crazy good though.
Yeah.
In the current meta. Yeah.
In your game against Christian, I don't think there were too many opportunities for you to necessarily hand fix. So it was kind of just scrambling.
It was.
You had an opportunity
I was
to pay
scrambling, but
with the Elaine, right?
Yeah, I had one chance to get anything I needed with the pay 2, but I didn't think I was dead that turn. I thought I had another turn, so I didn't go for that.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. We will be covering the deck in more depth about how the deck actually works in an upcoming deck profile made by Simu, yours truly. So stay tuned for that. And then in the meantime, in the description of this live stream, we do have a link to Simu's live stream VOD review of his stream game against Christian. So if you guys want to check that out when you guys have the chance, he goes into a lot of great insight about how that game went out. So give that a look.
Yeah, deck profile will be going out tomorrow.
All right, so this is the actual top 8 that happened. So we see here that there were 3 7 deadly, which were all Escanor, all 6-2 Escanor, 6 Doxel, 2 choice. 3 8 standby Quints, and then 1 Kanata Marin, and 1 good old Clinton with his Slime Pants book deck. And then in the semis, unfortunately, the 2 underrepresented sets, the Hololive and the Slime, they were both knocked out. And it became double mirrors of Escanor versus Nino in both semis. And Quints actually took both of those games. So the finals was a Quints mirror. And then the Escanors were left duking it out for the 3rd and 4th place matches. Are you guys surprised by any of these results? What comes to your mind when you guys see what happened here?
Michael Doolittle is the luckiest man alive that day. Holy. How did he beat 2 Escanors back to back? That matchup is so bad, in my opinion. That matchup is so bad right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the top 8 stream, because like the VOD is up for that too, but like in the semifinal match, I just remember Ken and I thinking like Michael was just like on the back foot like almost the entire game. He was playing with like 3 hand, and at one point I was just like, okay, Michael right now is thinking 2 things. He's like, do I really have to clock right now after eating all that? And like also, what happens if I draw my last climax that I didn't cancel with because I just ate all this damage? And it was just like big struggle. And then he just like blasted Matthew at the end. So
did Matthew just take like a bunch of damage and then die?
Yeah, that was happening a lot yesterday. People were just like dying out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like there was this one game where like a dude was just like, yeah, Escanor for 5, and it was just like all sticking, and Vanilla Swing for 5, and that stuck too. And yeah, people were just dying from like 2-3 and 2-4 and 2-5 like all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely saw a clip where there was like a Gil Thunder, or was it a Merlin? It's like swing for 5 and that sticks, and then like the Escanor was like ping 1, ping 1, ping 1, ping 1, ping 1, and then that all stuck, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. This guy's just dead. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Quinn's finals was to be expected. Like even during the day as I was playing against other competitors and kind of like talking to people, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think Escanor is definitely the best deck in this current format. Mm-hmm. Like I expect Escanor to take it all the way because they just have such a crazy aggressive game plan, and also just don't care about what most of the other decks are doing right now. Mm-hmm. Especially Quints, like just bounce all the Quint stuff and then it's GG. And then when I heard Quint's finals, I was just like, dude,
yeah, that was very surprising, especially knowing what the top 8 diversity was. I thought for sure we would see at least one Escanor, unless they all paired up against each other. But like they didn't even get paired against each other at all. They just played against a bunch of different decks, and then they all got knocked out by Quints. So very surprising,
Crazy.
Given that I do share Simu's opinion that Escanor should be fairly favored in that matchup, especially like post ban list, where you don't have like the -3 soul counter to like try to like survive, right? But that's what happened, and congratulations to William from Canada. He is the world champion for the BCS 2022 circuit, and obviously congrats to everyone else that made top 8, and honestly congrats to everyone that just made it at all. I mean, everyone playing at Worlds was a winner, right? They have already proven themselves to be the best of the best, and they all brought their A game to Worlds, tested a lot, and brought what they thought was the most solid option, and this is the result that we see here. But enough about the actual WISE tournament. Let's talk about just how things went overall during the day. So Randall and Ken were the official WISE Shorts commentators for the day. So I'm just going to run through some pictures of the rest of the event. But Randall, what was it like commenting World Finals. This is the biggest event of the year. Obviously, you've commented things like BRO before, but that was obviously in the the comfort of your own home and a much less prestigious event. But this is live at World's Finals. How was it for you?
Yeah, so I basically knew from the moment I walked into the hall and saw the setup that like this was gonna be insane. Like I don't know if you guys can tell from the picture that's currently on screen right now, but like the amount of like tech setup that was there at the back of the room was like crazy. Like they had like individual like camera setups with like 2 lights and like 3 cameras at like every single table with like a pair of people manning each set of cameras, and then like each one of the caster pairs had their own member of the production team that was like watching over their stuff, and it was just like all running super smoothly. Like they had an entire production team of probably like 15-20 people that were just working all the time, and working with those guys was really great, and they just made everything feel really comfortable. The whole experience just in general just felt so I don't have any better way to describe it than it felt so esports. Like,
I mean, it is.
Right.
Let's give a shout out to Level Up Productions, who did run the event from the production side. Level Up is known for producing or for producing fighting game events. This owned, I believe, by Alex Valle. So those in the FGC will know very well who Uncle Alex is, Uncle Valle. And
Yeah.
it was honestly really cool to see him in person. It was like very unexpected. But
yeah, what was really funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was really funny was that so like as I'm not an FGC player, I have no idea who Alex Valle is. But throughout the day, as we were like preparing stuff for each of the rounds or at the start of the day, I would like go over and like for example, when we were going to start Weiss soon, the pair of production team members that were manning the Weiss table, they like asked us to come over because Ben and I were like playing a game of Weiss. Like we were just like casually playing a game of Weiss during like our off time, and they were like, "Hey, can you guys come over here so we can like check glare and things like that, make sure everything that is important is in the frame, right?" And so one of the 2 guys that was at the Weiss table was Alex Valle, and I was just like talking to him like all day, like he was just like some normal member of the production team. And then later on, I go talk to my friends. They're like, "Yo, Alex Valle is here. He's on the team," and I'm like, "Who?" They're just like pointing that guy over there, and I'm like, "Oh, that guy, he's been like manning the Weiss table all day."
Yeah, no, Alex
So,
Valle is literally a fighting game legend. So, very awesome.
Yeah, I had figured that out by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah. Apart from that, yeah, it was really fun. Casting with Ken was super cool. We had never casted together like ever previously because obviously I've only ever casted with like Connor and Tony, and so we had met up the day before for lunch to just kind of discuss our styles, discuss our takes, make sure that we're all on the same page about everything, and then we just kind of went into it, and then it went pretty smoothly. So shout outs to Ken for being a really great co-commentator, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, fingers crossed that those VODs go up soon, because I'm definitely going to check out everything. But from the limited amount that I could catch, mainly like the round 6 stream, when Simu was playing on stream, like our whole group was basically huddled near the TV. There will be a picture of that soon. But this was a shot I had of Simu when he was sleeving up before round 1 started. And just various pictures here and there.
Wait, I actually have a quick story about that.
What, this one?
Yeah. So my practice for tournament prep is I always sleeve a week before. Because I hate dealing with new sleeves, they're too slippery.
Yeah.
But then obviously you don't want to sleeve too early because they'll get dirty. But like a week is roughly about how much time I feel like it's good to get like the sleeves kind of like worked in a bit. So I bought a pack of Dragon Shields, and Dragon Shield quality has been on the down from what I could tell recently. And so this newly opened pack just had a ton of scuff sleeves. Like I sleeved it up, I checked, and like at least 10 of my sleeves were just like damaged, marked, had like bumps or whatever. So I like changed them off, and I sleeved 10 more, and I'm like, dude, these are still kind of scuffed. So I like kept changing them until I got to a sleeve configuration. I was like, all right, there's still a little bit of scuff, but there's like not enough that I like care. And at that point, I was pretty over it. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have a judge check my sleeves, and if they can find the scuff, then I'll re-sleeve. Like if they tell me to re-sleeve, I'll re-sleeve. But then if they can't, I'll just play with these. It's like fine. It's not like a big deal. But then it'll be like my test for the judges to see if like the judges are good about checking sleeves and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I kind of wanted to test Singapore specifically, right? That would have been like my dream. But you know, instead, who checks my sleeve but Mehdi? So Mehdi is one of the Busho NA judges, and he's pretty new to the company, but I've been able to judge with him multiple times throughout the whole year. And I've like, so he like came into the company like this past year, so he has like no experience, and so I've taught him like everything, like from the ground up for like sleeve checks. I mean, he's also always obviously been like learning a lot on the job.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not there, but at like, because I went to every single Spring Fest, so like I taught, like, you know, we were working together. I taught him a lot of things, and so then here he's just like, oh, like you want me to check your sleeves? I'm like, okay, sure, go ahead. And then he's like, all right, I found these sleeves. I'm like, damn it, I trained you too well. And so I had to re-sleeve into these dual mats.
You taught him too well.
Yeah, but it was good. I was happy because it's like, wow, he actually found like the minor markings. Like he would be able to like identify the sleeves separately. I was just like, it feels cool to see like the Busho, like the NA judge staff, like, you know, they're coming into their own. Yes.
Yeah, they're actually doing
My
their
children
job
are all
properly.
grown
My
up.
children.
And there's like the Chica meme where it's like she's watching the president play volleyball. It's like, I raised them.
That's I raised
that boy, Betty. I raised you. It's great.
Here I have a grip full of all the free goodies I got for participating in or not participating, just being there. Nice goodie
Showing
bag
up.
stuff. Bunch of these Vanguard and
Wait,
the card third to the left. That character looks really familiar. I feel like I've gotten that card in a previous event before. Like that character.
Chrono
like 2017 when I went with June to Japan.
yeah. Giera at this point is pretty dated.
So this was the TV that they had. They had a monitor set up for every single stream, so there were 4 streams. So just a TV back to back to back to back, and then there were a bunch of chairs, all in like a viewing section. And then during Simu's game, we all went to watch Simu's game, and then we're very sad about the outcome. But you played very well, so nothing you could do.
Was there any like audible sound, or you guys were just like basically just watching the TV?
No, there was sound. Like the monitor itself, sometimes it was like a bit scuffed, like it would freeze for like a minute. But other than that, we could hear what was going on for the most part. It was more of especially during that final turn, when Christian top checked with with a Gilfender. It was like me, June, and the other guys, and then it was also like Tom and you. We were all trying to like magnifying glass, like trying to figure out what the top check threes were, because like one person was like, "No, that's a choice," and then you was like, "No, that's a two so," and then we're just like, "What is it?" So that was
I wish that was a choice, man.
Yeah, dude. Oh my, dude. When I think the biggest moment for me was on his final turn, because his previous turn, Christian triggered a choice in one of his attacks, so he refreshed with only one choice, and he had like 8 stock.
And he drew the other one.
And he just drew the other one like a good player. I was like, oh no, it's Simu might actually be dead here, because yeah, it was like so crazy how he transformed his hand from like nothing to everything. It was very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So I mentioned that I had a media pass. So the reason why I had a media pass was because Alex and I were scheduled to do a live stream on Alex's channel where we opened a bunch of Alex's like old sealed product. So we opened things like the original Sword Art Online, Persona 5, First Print Rascal, First Print Overlord, Heaven's Feel, so on and so forth. We opened I think like 10 or 11 boxes overall. Spoiler alert, we didn't open anything, but it was a lot of fun regardless. We also had a lot of like giveaways that we just gave out to random people that were watching at the venue. And it was really fun because like we would ask him random trivia questions or just like opinionated questions about things, and we wouldn't really care if they actually got them right or not. And half the time, it's not like there was a right answer anyways. Like, for example, I remember asking someone, like, who their favorite Quince character was. And then they were like, I haven't watched Quince before. And then I gave them a mat. And then, like, I think that person selected, like, they chose a Nisekoi mat. So then I brought up the story of, like, how people would ask me at the booth what Quince was. And I would tell them that it's modern Nisekoi. And then they would ask me what Nisekoi was. And then I would just feel like I'm, like, 50.
Yeah.
I also asked someone at the scene I asked Hung who his favorite Nisekoi character was, and he was like, I don't know, I haven't watched Nisekoi. And I was like, you gotta
Hung, come on, man.
dude.
Bruh.
I'm like, this is getting old. I'm getting old, but it was a lot of fun.
Did the guy who chose the Nisekoi mat at least had watched Nisekoi?
Oh yeah. He does. Yeah, he was
Okay.
like on the side screaming like Kosaki best girl, and I was like, I respect your opinion, but it's wrong. Chitoge is definitely best girl.
Yeah, from watching the VOD, the most fun part for me from watching the VOD was your guys' banter, because obviously with Alex being a pretty fresh face into actually playing the game of Weiss Wars and coming from like the collector's perspective of things, he doesn't have any of the like player perspective that we have on like the super old stuff. And so it was really fun to watch you guys talk about, oh yeah, like back in the day, like this silica was like OP. It was like on a 2K1 climax, and it like top decked and salvaged, and it was like OP. And yeah, it was just really fun to watch you guys like kind of go back and forth on that. And so like you would talk about a card and Alex would be like, no way.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole lot of that.
Honestly, like that really made me want to do something like revisit like the old formats of like English Wise. Like for Japanese Wise, I've also thought about it before, where it's kind of like a history of Wise thing. But like Japanese is one, way too big, and two, it's kind of out of my league. Because honestly, like especially for some of the older sets, I have no idea what's going on. Like what was the meta when it was the Capo 1 and Persona 3? Like I don't know. But for English, it's actually very easily traceable, because like the first English sets were like the Skyatra deck, which was like broken, and then you would have like Sword Art and Madoka and that stuff. So that is definitely something that I want to explore in the future if I can actually put in the effort and actually make a history of Wise thing. I think that would be pretty cool. But talking about all these old sets, about like how it's like, oh, Married Life and the Vice Commander counter can split 1k1, and then Alice was just like, that was very fun.
And they never printed that counter again.
Nope. And here's a shot that I took of right before round 6, when Simu and Christian were featured at the stream table. What was running through your mind at this moment, Simu?
At this moment, dude, I was engaging in some nice banter with Yarbacher. So, okay, here's the story of Yarbacher. Can I talk about Yarbacher? This guy's so funny.
Sure.
He's such a character, and the first time I ever interacted with Yarbacher was after Japanese Nationals, WGP 20. Gosh, what year was this? 2017. 2017 or 2018.
It was the year you went with June, right?
Yeah. Oh, I went with June twice.
Okay.
2018 and 2019, I believe, were the 2 years I went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2018, this was the first year I went to Nats. I took Gochiusa because Dear My Sister had released pretty recently, and I had come up with a pretty fresh Dear My Sister list using the Megu to send herself to stock to clear up board zones and do all kinds of shenanigans. And it was kind of interesting. I went 2-2. So it wasn't great, but a lot of the people who saw my list was like, wow, that list is really cool. Like, we thought this set was garbage, but you're actually making it look kind of good. Why don't you, like, join this card games Discord and kind of talk about it there? Like, I think some people want to see your list. I was like, oh, sure, that's cool. Like, sure, I'll join. So I joined the Discord, I post my list, and Yarbacher just comes like, wow, this list is so shit, man. And he just starts trashing this list, and I'm just like, who the hell are you? And like, I'm like, have you played this deck? I'm like pretty sure this is like the only way to play this deck. Like, and then so like we just get into some argument, and then like he's just, oh my gosh, and I was like, dude, this guy, what is he doing? He's just like, he just wants to fight, man. And it turns out like that's kind of like who he is a bit. He just likes to talk. He's very passionate about Weiss, has very opinionated, but like, you know, eventually I kind of came around like, oh, he just fights with everybody. He's not like picking. He's not specifically picking on me.
Nah,
you know,
he
like,
doesn't look
I
at
felt pretty.
who's talking. He just looks at your card list and just determines if it's trash or not.
I felt pretty hazed, dude. That was like the first thing I enter the server and I get flamed for my deck list. Like, I'm good, man. But then after that, you know, like we get to know each other online a bit more, and we have some pretty crazy banter. One of our banters involved us arguing which deck was worse, or which set was worse. Review set 1 or Henology set 1.
Why is this even a discussion?
Insane argument where I said that Review set 1 was worse, like by far, because Review set 1 was just garbage. And then he was like, no, Henology set 1 was garbage. And I was like, Henology set 1 had like clean cut or whatever. And then so we decided to money match it out. $100. Christian would play Review set 1, and I would play Henology set 1. And we streamed it. A bunch of people came and watched, and I sacked the living shit out of Christian. He like dug like 11 or 12 cards or something and couldn't find a win to close the game off. And then I won because of that. And so I went up 100. And actually, this moment, that's what we were talking about. I was like, have we ever played each other? And then he's like, no, definitely not in person. I'm like, oh wait, we did have that money match, right? He's like, oh yeah, we were reminiscing about that. So.
Okay. Oh, that's funny.
No, he was a great guy too. Like at the end, so sorry, I just want to talk.
Yeah,
like
you're good.
I think we were very
talking.
communicative during the entire game. Like just making sure, like, you know, keeping it pretty friendly. And then at the very end, as I was like revealing the damage, he's like, whoa, slow roll. We gotta like make this exciting, right? And like the whole time he was, you know, being very encouraging. And then afterwards, he was just like, yeah, you got unlucky there. Like I think that game could have gone both ways. Like he was shit talking my deck before this, by the way. Like in like round 3, he like walks by me, he's like, man, I wish I could play you. This matchup's free. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? You want to go? But then after we play, you know, he's actually like very respectful. He's like, wow, yeah, that deck's pretty good. Like, no, that game could have gone either way. I still think it's favored, but you know, we talked a lot about it. So
You think he would have been different if he lost? He was like, man, I can't believe I fucking lost. This deck is trash. I shouldn't have lost that favorite matchup.
The funny part was like when you went like 4, 5, 6, and then it was just like, all right, handshake and then 7th damage.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a character. Honestly, I respect him a lot for voicing his opinions. Generally, he's right. Honestly, he's been right on a lot of things, more than wrong, I would say. So definitely a very good player. Yeah, this is the thumbnail. Obviously, it's a nice picture the team took. This is after the event ended, and then we all finally had the chance to catch a breather and just hang out. And then, or was it after the event ended?
No, this was
like
before
event,
top 8. This was before top 8.
Yeah. Because there was like a big.
There was like a pretty
period
long
of
break
time.
during that time. Yeah.
Right.
Because once top 8 started, Randall was freaking glued to that seat.
Yeah. But look at how dapper Randall is. Have you guys ever seen a more dapper Randall?
Yeah, pretty much like all throughout the day, I just like walk around the room. I see someone I know, and they're just like looking good, and I'm just like getting that all day.
Yeah, man.
So that was funny.
Looking good because it's true.
Hey,
then, we do have names on the back of the shirts. Unfortunately, it was really cold. Or I heard that it was really hot for some people earlier. But at least for me, the entire venue was like fairly cold, so I had my jacket on most of the time. But we do have our name and nicknames on the back of the shirts. Randall also has this, but obviously he had to wear official, proper, formal attire. But in the future, like for example, for trios and stuff, it'll be very easy to spot us if we're playing, because we'll probably be repping these team shirts. Really cool. Very nice. And then here's a shot of all the casters at the end of the event. The casters did get all the goodies that participants got. So Here's a nice top 8 casters edition. On the very
Yeah.
left, we have Ken and Randall. So those were the wise casters. And Randall, can you tell us a bit about the other 6 commentators?
Yeah, so next we had Chris, aka Different Fight, the really tall guy, and then his co-caster Masha, Outer Orange. So I believe they were on Premium, like the everything Premium, right?
Hmm.
Sam, does that sound about right?
Oh, well, I have no idea.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what.
Oh, is Randall
that's what
about
they
to
were
get one of those fraud alerts? Who are these people? What did they commentate?
I mean, like, I know who they are. Like, I just okay, yeah, they were standard. They were standard.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, I was like,
okay,
huh.
so Different Fight and Outer Orange, they were on standard, and then there was, of course, Yellow Card Vanguard, Tony and Ben. Simu and I were hanging out with those guys quite a bit throughout the weekend. Definitely a pair of characters, and definitely now a pair of horchata enjoyers. Now that we have graced them with the knowledge of the existence of horchata.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those two Yellow Card Vanguard members, they were casting for V Premium format. And then lastly, we had Ty. So on the top, we had TIE Fighter, and then Kai of WCC, who previously at the White Shores like BROs and things like that, he would have been the co-caster with Ken, but he was doing Vanguard this time, and I was co-casting with Ken. So yeah, Ken and Kai and TIE Fighter for the premium, like everything premium format.
It's because like the WCC duo, they covered what, like Asia, Oceania, right? Because like for BRO there would be 3 regions and 3 tournaments. So like you and Connor would carry North America, and then it would be like Nando and someone else with Europe, and then the WCC guys for the last region, Oceania.
Yeah, I think it was Nando and Leon, right, for
Yeah,
Europe.
I think Leon. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I really liked about this whole Worlds experience was just following Twitter, because a lot of these guys were just like amazed or dumbfounded or shocked, mixed different emotions just based on like really random everyday things that we Californians take for granted. For example, like one thing that I really liked was when Ken tweeted about how there were like 2 different products side by side at the convenience store, but then one was like by unit, and then one was like by fluid ounce, and then he was just like, why are these in different units and things like that. How they think large is just how they like the large cup size is just like gigantic to them, whereas to us it's like, well, that's a normal size. Things like that. It's just like a very different culture thing that it's weird for other people to experience our culture, because like we don't really think of it as just like abnormal or anything. So that was really cool.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was really funny was when Ken and I met for lunch the day before, and he was asking me like a couple questions. He's just like, "Is it like this? Is it like this everywhere?" And I'm just like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's just like LA. And like he would just continuously ask like, "Is it normal for like to walk down the street and like have this like crazy guy walk up to you and then just like something like that?" And it's like,
Oh, yep.
no, that LA. I mean, like in LA, probably semi-normal, but certain other things that he asked, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really get much of that. I live out in like the suburban area, probably like 25-30 minutes away from here, and that doesn't sound normal for there. So I'm gonna assume that it's basically just been the LA experience. And he was just like, oh, okay, interesting.
Man, definitely the Mexican. Us Californians, so Californians are very spoiled for having good Mexican food.
Oh my God. We went to Mexican like 2 or 3 times over a course of like 4 days. And then that's where some of these guys found out about horchata. And then we had to like explain what every single type of meat was, like multiple times. Like they're like reading the list and they're like, okay, I've heard of carne asada and carnitas, and like what is lengua and cabeza and like al pastor, and we were just like going down the list and being like, oh yeah, it's this. and like Sam was making recommendations. And
Yeah.
it was fun.
I think the first time I started like listing off my taco recommendations, because I'm pretty passionate. I tacos got me through college at USC, right? I think the first time I started like listing it out and having like decent pronunciation, Ben was like, "What the heck? Why is this guy just all of a sudden like speaking Spanish to me? Like, what is going on? I thought he was Chinese." Yeah, that was pretty good. But I saw a take on Twitter actually. I forgot who it was. I think it was a Vanguard person, but they were saying like after experiencing Worlds in LA, like I feel like they're like, why don't we just have Worlds at a different location every year? Cause like that was really fun, and it's like, like having it in Japan is always nice, but it's like it's cool that we can travel and just like see new things. So I'm glad, a lot of people had like a lot of apprehension coming to America, just because of America's reputation of late. It's not a really great place to be. But I'm really glad that most people had a positive experience and were even open to potentially coming back.
Yeah. I want to say a big part of that would
nice.
have to do with the fact that like you guys were so accommodating and like hung out with them, right? So it's like if they were by themselves, maybe they would have a different opinion. But like like even just like the Mexican thing, right? I think that would leave a pretty good impression on them, right? And
Yeah, that's
without
true.
you guys, they
But
would
I think
not have known left from right.
Yeah, I mean, for the Vanguard players too, though. Like, I think
okay,
a lot
for
of
them,
them.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I saw some like crazy Vanguard group photos at Frankensons on Sunday. Like that community definitely really.
Oh yeah, they were just like
they really yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm like right my shop at Frankensons is like right opposite like basically the only Vanguard shop at Frankensons. So they were just there, and they were there. Like they were taking selfies, and there was like a group of like 10, 15 people, and they were there for like an hour, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, Vanguard and Wise. I want to say that I also wish that Worlds were in different locations, but if I'm speaking my honest opinion, I don't know if they can even manage that outside of LA and Japan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Definitely.
Maybe wishful
It's
thinking, but
probably a hard call, yeah.
But like meeting so many of these international people that like we so often like talk to online, just in the Wise community, just meeting them for the first time and being able to like put a name to the face and actually talking to them face to face it was honestly just an incredible experience. So it was a very happy event, all things considered. There were basically like nothing ill I could speak about the event. It was just a very good weekend for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that it was good that at least some of us within the people attending Worlds were like actually from the place it was hosted, because I think that just made it so much easier for not just like the other players but also like the other casters. So like the other casters that weren't familiar with the area, literally like I was the only caster, I was like the only like staff member, I think, on the side of like production and casting that was like from here. And so a bunch of people were just like, oh yeah, so what's like the fastest way to get from the hotel to the venue, or like what's good for food around here? And then so I was in like the staff Discord like drawing up like a little map and being like, oh, this is the fastest way to go from point A to point B. And then funny story, I like double baited everyone on the caster team because I was saying go here, and then like the way's blocked off, so we had to like walk around. And then I said walk counterclockwise around the Staples Center or Crypto Arena or whatever. And then if you walk counterclockwise, it's blocked off, so you had to walk the other way around. And so I was like constantly in the Discord because I think I was like probably one of the first people that left the hotel. I was like go the other way, and but even so, the thought was there. It was the thought that counts. And
Randall carrying both the commentary and the behind the scenes. That's typical Randall chat behavior.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then even outside of that, just like the whole thing of like Sam and I kind of guiding everyone towards some of the food culture that we have here. So like apart from the Mexican food, like for example, I took Tony and Ben to their first Raising Canes, and they were thoroughly enjoying that as well. So I definitely think that if we can have that sort of experience in other places as well, where like at least a few people are able to give all of the outsiders like the lay of the land and give them the traveler's guide to X city or X country, then I definitely think that future worlds, if they are in like other places around the world, could be just as fun of an experience as it was this time.
Honestly,
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
it would be pretty cool if Worlds was hosted at Singapore. Singapore's a pretty cool place, honestly.
Yeah, love that. Except I wonder how many of the international people would just get detained and for doing stupid shit in Singapore. But yeah, apart from that, sounds great.
Yeah, I've never been to Singapore, but I've heard that the city's like pretty nice. So whatever. I mean, it's not for us, up to us to decide. So we'll just obviously go with whatever the flow is. But it would be cool in the future if Randall gets the opportunity to cast again, and if any of us get to qualify again, if they do host it outside of the country. It'll be nice to basically take like a mini vacation. Because like for us, like for us, this was basically just like, all right, it's time to go to Worlds, 30-minute drive, the end. And then the Worlds ends, and then you just go back home and you just sleep, and it's like, okay, that's the day. But like for example, when I traveled to Chicago for Trios, early 2022, honestly, the tournament was like it was fun, obviously, but like the highlight was definitely doing everything that wasn't the tournament. So like exploring the city and just hanging out with people, and that was super fun. So I find that part of traveling to be a very, very enjoyable experience. And if there's more incentives for us to like travel in the future, especially for like a big event like Worlds, like Randall said, being able to have someone tell us the lay of the land and tell us what to do, and just being able to hang out with people we normally don't see can be just super fun. Yeah, I think let's answer some questions. I think there was like a question Teo asked earlier, but then we'll also open the floor to like if anyone has any questions for any of us about anything regarding the event or just like random things. But otherwise, we'll answer some questions and we can call it there. So sorry, Teo, for holding off, but I think this question Simu can answer pretty well. With Azure being already released, what are you guys' thoughts on the set? Is it strong? Is it fun? So.
All right, as the resident Azure Lane expert in this call, I will have to say that the set is very fun. There are a lot of really cool cards, a lot of really cool profiles, some stuff that has not been printed or doesn't really exist in other sets. So fun factor is 10 out of 10. As far as how strong Azure Lane is, that's still to be decided. It's very similar to Hololive, where the strength of the set comes more from the diverse card pool rather than from any specific profiles or combos. So there's no deck that automatically jumps out as like best deck to play in Azure Lane and like this is the new format defining thing. If you recall when Hololive first dropped, there was a lot of people who were trying to struggle to find out what was the best Hololive deck. And the eventual best Hololive deck, which is Kanta Marine, didn't get finalized until like months after the set release. Like initially everybody was on like Rusia and stuff like that, right? So I kind of see Azure Lane in a similar light where like there's nothing that's clearly the best, but there's just so many tools that like eventually somebody's gonna find some kind of combination that just works, right? And it's probably gonna involve some crazy cards that would have never been considered. Like the Kanta Marine deck actually like owes a lot of its functionality to the 1-0 Miko and the level 0 Aki, which were cards that like nobody thought was good at like on release. Like everybody was just like, this is garbage. Who would ever play these cards? Yeah. And now it's like, wow, without these cards, this deck doesn't actually work because you can't bridge into level 2. So I think there's something similar in Azure Lane. I think if you want to play the set, it's very fun. Go ahead and give it some time. People will eventually come out with some really cool deck lists that are actually quite competitive. That's my take.
All right. Have y'all tested 7 Deadly Sins, Escanor, or Standby into Overlord 2 or Quint's movie? And if so, how bad is the matchup? So for Quint's movie, since that is a set that we are guaranteed to come, confirmed to come into English, when Quint's movie comes out, there's going to be, for the most part, the Nino deck still, and then there's going to be the new Itsuki deck, and then there's also going to be an Ichika deck. I think those are like the 2.5 to 3 main decks that are going to be out for Quint's 3. So Simu, with your 6-2 standby deck in mind, for example, how do you think your matchup spread would be? You don't have to think too hard, just like your first thoughts.
Yeah. So the main thing with the 6-2 standby is that it's good against other standby decks and decks that rely heavily on early play because the 1/1 lane runner is really good. And then the second thing is it denies burns quite well, right? So any deck that has a burn finisher, you basically just get to shut them off. So with that being said, I don't think the new Quinn stuff necessarily poses too much of a threat because I think after Quinn's movie and potentially further nerfs to Nino Standby, the deck that everybody has been going towards is the Itsuki deck. And the Itsuki deck, the finisher is Burn. They also have a Mocha attached to it, but it's really not worth discarding 3 just a Mocha. And so being able to shut off the Burn is quite good in that specific matchup. However, I do think that with Quinn's movie stuff, especially the Ichika deck, I think that deck could pose a bit more of an issue just because that deck has a crazy level 2 game that's not focused on the early play, but rather recycling the climax and just like shoving damage down your throat. And the 6 standby deck needs more like turns to set up. So like if they can consistently loop climax at level 2, I think they can just like shove it down your, you just take too much damage that you can't really do too much about it, and they're not really minusing that much. So yeah, I think the worst matchup would be against the Itsuki deck, and then the Ichika deck, and then I think against Itsuki and Nino, it's like fairly still like pretty good.
All right, Randall, what do you think? Let's assume that Escanor builds are more fleshed out by the time Quinn's movie comes out. Obviously, as Seven Deadly Sins has been out for the equivalent of 1 tournament and 1 month and some change. So there's still the possibility of quite a lot of, deck ideas and just more optimization down the line. But just in terms of just the general structure of the Escanor deck and what its strengths, how do you think the Escanor deck will fare going into Quinn's and also Overlord 2, since you have also played Overlord 2 yourself? What do you think about that matchup? Those matchups.
So I guess I'll start with Itsuki, as I feel like at least after JP hits to Nino, Itsuki is now the more prevalent of the two. I feel like the biggest point of contention for that particular matchup of like Escanor versus Itsuki is who reaches level 3 first. So the thing is that if Escanor hits level 3 first, it's not known for having like the most gigantic range. Like it can kill from like high 2 if the opponent gets unlucky. But it's not known for killing from like late 2. Yeah. It's really good at like closing out a game from like 3-0 or like 3-1 or something. But Itsuki is a deck that you can be at like 2-4 and then still just get exploded. And I think that in that particular matchup, if the Itsuki player is smart about like damage control and not hitting the Escanor player to a point where like they have a chance to get a lot of explosive damage, then I think the Itsuki player has a very, I don't want to say easy, but like they definitely have more control of the situation. And it's not like it's hard for Itsuki players to assemble the pieces for their late game either. It's like all you need is like 6 stock, and that deck just naturally has like a bajillion hand as long as the game is going like fairly decently. And then you don't care about your damage state either, because the finisher is not a healer. You just want to refill your hand, and then and if you don't kill them, like they're probably going to kill you, but yeah, that's just kind of the nature of Itsuki. Mm-hmm. You just kind of chuck everything you have at them, and then if it sticks, it sticks. As far as Overlord goes, I haven't tested the Overlord matchup into Escanor at all, but I think that the same sort of similar principle can apply, where Overlord, specifically the build that I've been testing is the goats build that run the bar level 3, where you send all the events to memory. And I feel like that deck has sort of a similar mentality to Itsuki, where you don't care how far in damage you are. Once you hit a certain point, you don't care about how much damage you have. You just kind of want to get as many resources as possible and then just throw literally everything you have at your opponent's face. And it has a lot of the same kill potential from like mid to late 2, and not letting your opponent get to level 3 at all, not letting your opponent play their level 3 game and explode you back. And another thing about the Overlord deck is because of the that particular deck's capacity to eliminate the opponent's entire board, it does have a very negative impact on Escanor's ability to have a full board for their finisher. So like if their hand going into level 3 is like 2 Escanors, just as an example, like 2 Escanors, 2 of the level 0s, the climax, and like a 6th random card, and then you kill their entire board, they don't have nearly enough to work with for an actual late game. So that could be a potential issue. As far as the 6-2 build, this is not something that I've personally tested, but theoretically, I feel like if the game goes fast enough, which Overlord gold bar builds, they don't want to go super fast, but in a fast game, if you can get a good board wipe, it can be pretty devastating. And then in a slower game, where you have enough time to really set up your entire setup and get yourself into a pretty stable position, you potentially can play around the Meliodas and Elizabeth combo by killing the Elizabeths first with like putting markers on like 2 separate Eins. You like kill the Elizabeths first, and then now that the hexproof is not on the Meliodases anymore, you kill the Meliodases. And then also the anti-burn doesn't really do anything because most of the all of the burns that you're doing in that deck are either not in battle because they're on climax placement, or they're via events. So anti-burn just like kind of doesn't do anything in that matchup. I definitely think that it is a pretty scary matchup if you're trying to play like 6-2 standby Meliodas into Overlord. They just kind of ignore a lot of what you're doing.
The way I see that matchup, 6 standby 2 choice Meliodas into Gate Bar or whatever bar Overlord, I would just like, I think that's like an 80-20 matchup, if not worse.
Yeah, probably worse, honestly.
It's like you can't do anything.
Your main game to get out,
you don't have any
like,
power
big
to push your
dudes
opponent.
is like the 1/1, but then the combo literally just turns off the 1/1.
Yeah, like you can't reverse the Eins with your bomb because it doesn't let your Elizabeth get reversed. So I think that matchup is super poor.
Yeah, that matchup sounds really
Conversely,
garbage.
though, I think against 8 standby Overlord, 6-2 will probably be fine.
Oh
like,
yeah,
6-2
that matchup
is just
free.
6-2 is favored against basically every standby deck, just because of like the one.
Yeah, I think so I've played like a decent bit against 8 standby Overlord, and I also borrowed it for like one tournament. And then the biggest issue that I've had with that deck is that sometimes you're like, okay, against decks that are smaller than you, it is like the most miserable existence ever. When you're playing against 8 standby Overlord and you're smaller, you just want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're against 8 standby Overlord and you're bigger, so like let's say for example you're playing like your own standby deck, or like the 6-2, and you bring out the Meliodases with the 2-1 and you're like 14k. Turns out 8 standby Overlord can't do anything if they have no board. So like,
which is fair to say against like most standby decks, but
yeah, but like the 3-2 Albedo, like she has to be on the board to have anti-burn or gain value over multiple turns. So if you're bigger, and it's just like, all right, what is 8 standby Overlord doing? And but if you're smaller than 8 standby Overlord, you are not going to have a good time. You are going to hate your life.
Yeah, so we'll see. Overlord hasn't actually been officially announced. We do expect it to come soon, but Overlord is definitely a very strong set. So very interesting to think about the meta for English, especially as more and more English originals come out, especially ones that are so so powerful, such as Seven Deadly with its multiple builds. Alright, got a couple more questions. Will the new Bane Dream set have a place in the meta? A door? Randall has been the one that has played some Bane Dream with the new anniversary set. Do you have any thoughts on its place in the meta in particular? Just like in general?
There are like, from what I've seen, a few main directions that Japanese players have been taking when it comes to the anniversary set. The main one being, as your comment said, the 8-gate deck that runs the it basically just runs the level 3 Kasumi as its finisher, which is it has a burn combo with anti-burn, and then also
Oh,
He's dead again.
Oh, I can't believe Randall's dead. All right, but I think. No, he's back.
If I had a nickel for every time Randall disconnected this stream, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't much.
Which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Welcome back, Randall. It's funny that it happened twice. We can't hear you, by the way. Oh, there you go. Okay.
It's not weird that it happened twice. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So like the 8-gate build, you run like this level 3. You run this level 3 Kasumi that has a burn with anti-burn and an associated -3 soul event that you can only use while the Kasumi is on the board. So in that sense, it's like kind of similar to, I guess, how like current Nino plays its endgame. Like kind of similar. Obviously, you don't have standby to like bring it out early, but you have a lot of other pretty decent tools as well. Overall, I would say it's just like it's a pretty decent all-rounder kind of deck. I wouldn't say that it does anything like particularly ridiculous.
I think people that like Bane Dream will be very happy with it, and then the people that bring it to tournaments will be people that like Bane Dream.
Yeah,
but I don't think it'll be like top meta or anything, but I would not be surprised if it had some tops. That would be, especially in trios.
I mean, the card pool's still pretty big, right? So there's definitely
the card pool's big, but then it's
like
it's very like segmented between anniversary, right?
Oh, that's true. I think a lot of the anniversary stuff doesn't.
Because like all the new, none of the new cards reference music at all. They all reference anniversary.
Right. Correct, but some of them are still backwards compatible just because
they themselves are
they
music.
don't specifically they themselves aren't even restricted to anniversary necessarily. So that brings me to the next deck, which is the Kanon 1-0 variants, which is actually what I'm testing right now. I just got Kanon 1-0s in like a recent order, and so those variants are like kind of interesting. Usually you will see like either 8 choice with the new Kokoro finisher, or like choice pants with one of the level 3 finishers. I've seen both anniversary and non-anniversary based variants. So like the anniversary variants would run the new Yukino level 3 that can either be a burn 4 or a burn 2 on reverse. And then there's also some variants that, because the Kanon is not restricted to anniversary decks at all, there are also some variants that run old finishers like the Mashiro 3-2 that people are used to right now. And then the last style of deck that people are running is just like they are continuing to run like Arisa builds and minus soul, because there are some pretty good new tools that can go into that deck. Like they have like a new level 1 combo with the Tae, which the new runner as well, the Arisa like chaser. And there's some pretty nice tools there. Like the Tae level 1 combo from the new set is basically it's basically the 10 Commandments combo from Seven Deadly Sins, where you top check 4 and you add up to 1 level 1 or higher to hand, and then you send up to 1 level 1 or higher to stock. And because that deck runs like a trillion events, you just grab the events you need and then you just like set up.
If anything, Bane Dream is one of those sets where I feel like there's going to be a lot of room for having a game plan of whatever you want to do personally. I think the card pool does support it. So especially as the formats diverge more and more and the metas just are completely different, while we can reference the Japanese pre-existing builds, I think if you want to come out on top, you will have to innovate in some way to fit the format. So
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
it's not a set that people are going to adjust. It's not strong enough in a sense that people are going to have to adjust to you, so you're just gonna have to adjust to them.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty decent.
All right. Slime 3. How does Slime
Whoa.
3? I have no idea what Slime 3 does, but from the decks that I've played against, Slime 3, it's like, okay. But I hear that there's this like spicy standby build that's going around.
Oh.
But I think the set is still
there-
like relatively new, right? So
I haven't heard about any spicy standby build. Pretty much everybody in Japan right now is on one of two decks. Or one of two styles of decks. They're either testing Demon Lord right now because it's a brand new deck, and they're trying to figure out. Yeah, they're basically trying to figure out whether or not it's good. I think it's like probably like fine.
it
Having
seems
to
very fine.
Yeah, having to restrict yourself to Demon Lord trait for several cards is like a little bit sus. And then the other thing that people are testing a lot of is builds that run the 2-1 Muton combo.
Yeah, that combo is so good.
Yeah, that's being tested in many different styles. Like people are testing level 1 combo plus Muton. People are testing no level 1 combo into Muton, level 2 into a level 3 combo. People are testing like 4-2-2 splits. Like people are testing all over the place with Muton, and that's definitely the combo that is getting by far the most attention out of the new set. A lot of the other combos in the set I feel are honestly pretty bad.
Subpar.
Yeah, that Muron combo is really good. So I actually went undefeated at Darkside on Monday with Grady's Muron deck, which is level 1 Shizu combo into level 2 Muron into just kitchen sink top end. Turns out that Slime has a crazy number of really good no climax finishers, all the way from set 1 to set 3.
Right?
There's just a ton of them, and it just gets the job done. So it's really cool. Actually, do you have those cards like from set 1? I kind of want to build this in English. I'll
English?
send
I'll
you
have
the
to
list
check.
later, Mike,
I'll have
if
to
you have the
check.
cards.
Yeah, my English set 1 is like pretty sparse. But yeah, Slime 1 just came out, so like Randall
Slime
said,
3?
or Slime 3. Slime 3 just came out, so everyone's still testing. So inconclusive.
Yeah.
Inconclusive.
Well, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so there is one particular card that, or I guess it's a duo of cards that I think shows a lot of promise, and that would be the level 0 Muton Brainstorm with the 2-1 Shuna. It's like, this is what it took for me to like a Search Brainstorm, basically, in the year 2023. Because, like, I hate Search Brainstorms.
Global
I want to know...
1000 global hexproof.
Global
Wow.
1000 on top of Global 1000 plus Global Hexproof.
Oh, it's double global 1000 plus hexproof.
yeah, it's global 2K, global hexproof with both of them in back row.
Because the Shuna is already a global 1K, and then the Brainstorm becomes a global 1K if you have Shuna, and then the Shuna becomes global hexproof if you have Muton.
Does it count itself?
I think
count
that
itself,
is
or
like,
is it like
so
all
good
front
in
row?
standby, by the way.
Huh?
Does
What,
the
Mike?
hexproof count everyone, including itself, or does it give all other characters, or does it give all front row?
All other.
All
so
other,
not
yes.
so everything except the Shuna. So
Okay,
if
so-
hypothetically you put 2 Shunas on the board,
You're
it's time.
chilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That card is like super good in standby, I think, because you can like play standby the Shuna to back row, and then like you're up 2K. Like your level 1 standby combo is like up 2K, and then if you standby anything out, they're just up 2K. It's just so crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
list-
like
the
the
list
standby
that
deck that I was like, I don't know if it's actually popular, but like that was the spice I was hearing about. It's like you standby out the support, and then your guys are just like huge.
Yeah, the deck that when the set list finally dropped, the first deck that I just kind of like threw a list together was Standby Rimuru level 1 into Muton level 2 into Climax combo list top end, because like the problem with the Rimuru was always that he can't side, and so if you're smaller, you just feel super bad. So if you standby out the Shuna and you have Muton and you have global 2K, and then you also have the new Amagi Shion that bounces back to your hand to give 2K until end of turn, you're just like chilling on the offense. And then you have 7,500 Rimuru on defense, 8k for the like 1-0 Yom and Muton that searches the 2-1. And then if you hit any additional standbys while you're still at level 1, you just bring out Muton and she's like 12-5.
Yeah, and then like the one
you just
awkward
go
thing
from
would be
there.
like Alexander is saying, taking up both back row slots could be awkward. If you trigger first attack standby, you're just like, this is kind of sad.
Okay, but the level 2, the new standby level 2 Benimaru combo just stands a card. So like if you're playing 8 standby now, you run Benimaru level 2, and then your level 2 standbys just go to front row. Like it actually doesn't like conflict with your back row if you're running that combo. So it's like
So you're playing 8 standby and you're not playing Milim finisher, so you're just playing like climaxless finisher again?
Yeah, just climaxless again. Like Slime with set 3, they got a on attack Musashi if you have color condition, and then like an end of attack pay 2 ditch 2, lose all your stock burn 4 on a card that also has cancel burn. Like they have so many good climaxless finishers now on top of like set 1 clock kick Milim and like some other stuff. I know they have like like the TD burn 5 technically is an option if you want to go that way. It's just there's so much good stuff.
The Milim clock kick from set 1 got a disgusting bonder, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it.
That card
There's
is
a bond.
crazy.
What does that do?
So it's a 1-0 blue, on play discard bond to the 3-2 Milim, on play top check 2 rearrange, and when you play the Milim, it sends itself to stock and gives Milim 1500.
Whoa! Holy, that's cracked.
Wait,
It's
it gives Milim 1500?
Yes.
That's so cracked.
It's
that's
Milim
crazy.
will get to like 14 base.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, oh, let me just guarantee I hit the top check and refund 1 stock to use for the clock kick, and I'm also huge for the clock kick.
Oh,
it's
that's
crazy.
pretty spicy. I like
Yeah.
that card a lot.
And then a standby, you have 3-2 Benimaru from set 2. Like
Right.
you don't need another finisher. That thing is now hexproof and up 2k
Well,
by
like,
the
it only
way.
burns 1. You're
I'm
like,
good.
Burning 1 all the time is not super great.
It's fine. No.
hexproof.
No. I wouldn't run the Benimaru anymore. I would rather run the
you
new
wouldn't?
Rimuru. There's a new Rimuru blue that is it's if it's in your front row, 1500 everywhere, including itself, and then when it attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a demon continent character, everything gets a soul.
Oh. What? Demon content though, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
everything.
everything's demon.
Oh,
content.
okay.
Yeah. I would rather run that. So like
Interesting.
in the okay, so first of all, I haven't looked at 8 standby like at all. Because basically I just went straight to that standby pants list that I brewed up, and then in the top end on that one, it was like 2 Milim clock kicks, 2 of the Benimaru on attack Musashi things, 2 Shuna early plays, just have option, and then
the heal, yeah.
and then 2 of the Rimuru in the front
To
row,
get soul,
1500.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think you don't need a climax combo finisher, honestly. Like Slime's options for no climax combos is just too good.
Okay.
And we also kind of brushed over this with the Demon Lord deck, but the Milim does kill back row, which is one of the few cards in English that targets back row and is potentially good. I mean,
Okay, Assault Lily player.
Dude, that card just destroys some decks, man. So I do think that like Slime is going to be representing the meta because of the tools that it's bringing with set 3, like back row hate, the hexproof. I mean, we know how good Armin is. This is just like wow, it's global hexproof. And then,
This is almost Armin. If she got hexproof,
Okay,
if she got
she
hexproof,
can't get hexproof.
now
That
we're
would just
talking.
be unfair.
she trades her hexproof for the third lane in
Everyone
front. I think
else is
it's fair,
hexproof.
man.
The third lane
Yeah, I
and the
think
other
that's
back
fair.
row.
Yeah, true. So anyways, I do think that Slime 3 is going to be very meta represented. I think because of those tools, those are effects that basically force other decks to kind of have to deal with you. Those aren't like reactive tools. Those are like, I have this game plan, and if you don't have an answer to this, I'm gonna walk over you, right? And
Does
so I do
Slime
think it's
have,
going to
like-
be, yeah.
Does Slime have like defensive options though? Like can it just
Oh, they got a new counter. It's a 2-1 yellow counter, Ramrus counter, 2-1. Pay 1, ditch 2, plus 6 soul. Okay?
Okay, that
So-
doesn't do anything as Escanor, man.
It doesn't do anything as Escanor, but then they also have the sack minus soul counter. So you have
Okay.
both options. So if their soul is too low, then you can minus soul them, and if their soul is too high, you plus soul them. And then so like
Yeah. So I
you
guess
have
my
that option.
concern,
And
like if we're talking about like English, it's like hexproof is nice and all, but like, won't you just die against Escanor? Like it's nice
I
that
mean,
your
just-
things can't get
yeah,
bounced, but
yeah, your things can't get bounced, and you just minus soul like a number of them, right? And then you're probably fine.
mm,
Like the fact that the SNR can't bounce your board is huge. It's like that's already a -1
right.
burn, and then if you have another -1 count on top of that, that's even better, right? So
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It is coming. So this year in particular, we're going to have a lot of very, very powerful sets. And a lot of very unknowns as well. We have Chainsaw Man coming, Spy Family, Avatar,
true.
Guilty Gear Strive. It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit.
I'm waiting for my May card, Bushiroad.
Dude,
Lay
if
it
they
on
actually
me.
give give you a Totsugeki card like that, I'm
Totsugeki?
buying Strive just to play that. The Kimono Friends player and me cannot say no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We have one
Alright,
more
let's
question.
see.
Looks like.
Any sets you'd like to see supported in 2024?
Okay, is that a typo? Because 2024 is like
Oh, that's next year.
next year.
All right, let's just any sets you'd like to see supported. We'll assume like just in general. I'll start first because like I've been saying this for forever. I want more support for English originals, which is nice that they have started giving support to English originals. AOT is an English original. Well, it doesn't support an English original. It is an English original release that is an expansion of a set, and then Seven Deadly Sins is the first true expansion to an English original set. But I definitely want them to revisit some of the older ones as well, like Cardcaptor Sakura,
Yeah,
Mob
I was
Psycho
about to say, any
100.
particular ones that you want to see
Yeah,
support,
no,
starting with C
definitely.
and ending with Art After.
Yeah,
Yeah.
starts with C and ends with Art After Sakura. It's not even like they have the material for it. Clear Card, they only covered like the first half of the season. Mob Psycho, there's seasons 2 and 3. Batman Ninja is dead. And then Ruby, they obviously have more
Batman
content for
Ninja
Ruby.
is
Batman Ninja is dead. I do not believe in Batman Ninja. Adventure Time, right? Adventure Time has plenty of seasons to go through. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. I would like to see even more English originals. I don't know how that would work development-wise. I don't know if they can fit more than 2 per year, but it would certainly be very exciting for them to be not only bringing English exclusive English original new titles like Guilty Gear Strive and Avatar, but also supporting expansions at the same time. Especially as it seems like they're starting to catch up with a lot of the sets that they want to bring over to English anyways from the Japanese version, with their hyper fast release schedule of a set every 2 weeks.
Don't remind me.
They are
Hey, yo.
going to run out of things to release eventually. So that's my take on that.
All right, Sam, what do you want to get support?
Well,
Are you prepared with an answer, or if not, I can go.
yeah. No, I have an answer. So, technically speaking, I don't really care too much for English because I don't play English usually. I'm more of a Japanese player because I mean, when I play in English, I judge, or like when there's English events, I judge. So yeah, I don't really have too much in terms of like new sets because like if it's a set that I already own in Japanese and they bring it over to English, I'm kind of like, well, I already have the cards, so it kind of sucks. That being said, so like if they do get this set, it would be really cool. But if Bocchi the Rock ever comes to Weiss, I'd love to see that get represented in both games, just because I'm a huge fan of that show, and I think that show deserves all the love and all the promotion it can get. And I would probably collect cards in both languages.
Stand back, Bocchi. She's about to rock. All right, Randall?
All right, so I have a couple answers. The first one is that I am hard coping for Albuta Set 3. I don't care if it's Sister Venturing Out or Knapsack Kid. I want more I want more Bunny Girl Senpai sets. Playing my waifu right now feels so bad, and I just want more good Mai cards so that I can play this set. And like, yeah, I just want to see more Bunny Girl Senpai. They
Do you
made it.
use the Nodoka Mai cards in your Mai deck or no? Or do you allow yourself to use the Nodoka Mai cards? Or no?
I just don't. I just don't play my waifu, man.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It feels miserable. I'm just like I like put this card on the board and it's like they kill it for free and I'm just like okay.
Yeah, I bet
The next card I put out is also getting killed for free.
I bet you like the fact that the set only has Search Brainstorms.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, I definitely love the fact that Bunny Girl Senpai only has search brainstorms. Please give me a salvage brainstorm if there's a set 3, please. Oh my god. All right. The other thing that I probably would want to see getting more support would probably be what would I want to see getting more support? There was something. What was I thinking? I was literally I had it in my head earlier, and then I forgot because I saw Bunny Girl Senpai and I was like, I want Bunny Girl Senpai set 3, please. Oh yeah, I want Ruby Ice Queendom. I definitely want Ice Queendom really bad.
Ooh, that's a good answer. That's a really
Yeah. Yeah,
That would be super cool.
and like, I don't know. Hypothetically, if that were to come out, I don't know if they would go with like the English signs or the JP voice actor signs. But like, if they got JP, that cast is stacked. Oh
That
my
cat
lord!
is so crazy at JP.
You got Saori Hayami, Yoko Hikasa, who else? Ami Koshimizu. Like literally, like every single person in that cast is like a big name.
A-list, yeah.
They're almost all people that have like also already had like signs in White Shores, and so that would be pretty hype to just see both sides come together.
You would collect all the signs, and then Ruby set 1 is English, and then Ruby set 2 is Japanese. Oh, that'd be so sick.
Too kakoi, yeah.
That would actually.
Anyways,
be so
Yeah,
cool.
Ice Queendom would be crazy.
that would be so cool, yeah.
For Superman, registration for San Gabriel isn't up yet. You probably want to just keep checking. It is in 1.5 months, so
Yeah.
you kind of just have to be on the lookout. Unfortunately, we don't know when it opens, but you can probably reliably say that if you check like once a week, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll do on-site registration this year, but we don't know.
How likely is Licorice
no way.
Recoil to come to English? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? It is
That's
Aniplex.
something we cannot
It
possibly
is Aniplex,
Yeah.
gauge.
if that matters.
It is what?
It's Aniplex.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we had an Aniplex title since Sword Art Anime 10th got announced to have actual signatures,
No.
or is that the latest one?
It's the latest one.
Okay, so we do not know what the future has in store for Aniplex titles in English, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright.
I will
Last
say
question.
that if you like Licorice Recoil, you should not bank on it coming to English, right? Like, you should just do whatever you feel like matches your, I guess, your love for the show or love for the cards, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think you just do whatever's comfortable. Don't rely on something that may or may not happen.
Yeah, just like as an example, take a look at the like 4 or 5 guys down here in SoCal that like got hard into Rebirth Licorice Recoil because they love the series that much, and then here comes in Weiss. It's basically the same deal. It's just like, do you love it enough to buy it in JP, or are you down to wait for English? I guess
It's
kind
like
of
me
the same
with
deal.
waiting all this time for Sword Art Online 10th light novel in English, and it does not exist.
It's never
just
coming.
does not
Yeah.
exist. Every Sword Art
yeah.
set has been brought over from Japanese to English within like half a year, and then light novel is just like dead. So
Yeah.
It's literally been out since like 2019, I think, right? And it's lost to the abyss.
If you forgot about it, then maybe it's not important. Not meme.
Did you forget something? Forget a Sword Art set? Nah, we couldn't have. We love Sword Art.
Nah.
Alright, are you guys gonna try
Yeah.
Shadowverse? Probably. Give it a shot.
Yes.
There's a couple of really enthusiastic people in our friend group that are into Shadowverse, so I'll definitely give it a shot.
Very excited for Shadowverse. I hope they bring the horses.
Oh,
I need
will.
the
I do like me
horses.
some horses.
I just want them to
want
bring.
the horses.
I would just like them to bring like some Grand Blue cards so that I can just like have them, and like I probably would not get too deep into the game.
Mm-hmm.
If I like maybe I would like learn the rules and then like borrow people's decks.
Yeah.
That's probably as far as I would get into Shadowverse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they do Shadowverse events, I'm planning on judging Shadowverse as well.
Alright, final super meta important question: who are you guys' husbandos?
I've never thought about this question in my life.
Does it have to be from anime or from other things?
Probably just a general question. Doesn't have to be from Wise or
General
anime
question?
in general.
Okay, so I don't have an anime one off the top of my head, but oh my god, Zhongli is hot.
Is that Genshin? I'm guessing it's that.
Yeah.
From
Okay.
Genshin.
He's the
Yeah.
Geo Daddy.
I have never sipped harder for a male character than for Zhongli.
What do they call it? They call him like the CEO
The
of
CEO
GEO.
of GEO. Yeah, let's go.
CEO of G?
Geo. GEO.
Geo.
Because Geo
From
is
anime? Oh,
because
it's
Geo
hard.
Geo is the Earth element. So he is the
Okay.
CEO of GEO because he's like the rock god.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From anime though, that's so hard.
Anime? Man. I do have some like favorite male characters, like all-time favorite male characters. I wouldn't call them husbandos though. I just really like them. So like for
Same.
me, it would be the two that come to mind would be from Full Metal Panic. I really like Sagara, Sosuke, who is the main character in Full Metal Panic. He's just a really funny and cool dude. And then from Clannad, I really like Nagisa's dad. Those are like my two favorite. Those are like my two favorite
Nagisa's dad.
male anime characters of like all time. Yeah, Nagisa's dad is he's like the fucking man. Like he knows how to cheer his wife up with like stuffing his bread, and like he knows how to be serious when he's serious. Like he takes things very seriously, but handles it in his own ways. Like you just gotta fucking play baseball. If you want to marry my daughter, you gotta play baseball with me. So he's cool.
Oh yeah, dude, he's a riot. It's great.
Yeah, as someone who has literally never had this question even in my mind before, I will say that like as far as male characters that I am an enjoyer of, I very much enjoy Sakuta from Bunny Girl Senpai.
That's good.
I really just like his like I don't give a shit attitude, but he also like knows what he wants and is like not afraid to like kind of dick around.
Dude, he knows what he wants, and he is not afraid to say it out loud. Like he's just like, I want to be in between those thighs. to the owner of the thighs.
That wasn't even to the owner of the thighs. That was while Nodoka was in her sister's body.
Was it? Was that?
Yeah.
Not? Oh, okay. Well, to the owner of the body of the thighs. The current possessor of the body of the
Current
thighs.
possessor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possessor.
But then like in every other occasion he's just like I am thankful that you are stepping on my foot right now or something like that, or like
Yeah.
like I can concentrate more on studying if you wear the bunny girl outfit. It's just like, dude, Sakuta is just like fucking funny. He's so funny.
Yeah.
It's definitely a refreshing take on like the harem or like the rom-com MC, because you get a lot of like the self-inserts who are like, you know, are kind of like a piece of shit, or like they just like have no social skills. I'm Kanokari. But then yeah, so Sakuta is kind of nice. He's just a Chad. I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I guess okay, to give an
All right.
anime
Oh,
answer
yeah, you
real
never
quick.
answered an anime husband,
Yeah,
Simu.
to give an anime answer, this is also kind of out of left field, but there's a Chinese anime called The King's Avatar. In Chinese, it's 全职高手, and it's about like this guy who is he's like a veteran at this esport, but he gets like tossed aside by his organization, and then he finds a bunch of rookies and is like vying to like get back into the league and to like take revenge on his former team. He's pretty cool, and he's also like a very old and mature character. He's like almost 30, I think. And so I think they did a good job of like representing like an old veteran of like an esport. He's pretty funny, very quirky guy. So I thought they did a really cool job with him. It's not Japanese anime, but the anime is quite good. I recommend it if you guys are down for Chinese cartoons.
I mean, to be fair, most anime nowadays is like Chinese made anyway, so
Exactly.
it's only a matter of time. They make good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap it up there. Thank you guys all for joining us. There's like a kind of just a casual conversation about Worlds and also talking about some various decks and just chilling for the Worlds after stream. Any final thoughts? Any final words?
I am just really happy that Bushiroad gave me this opportunity. Like this has been crazier than like anything that I have ever done in like anything related to card games ever. And I've been doing card games for like probably like half my life or something. Like I went from Yu-Gi-Oh to Vanguard to Weiss Schwarz, and like throughout all that time, like the progression from like some playground Yu-Gi-Oh player to like relatively competitive Vanguard player to like where I am now with Weiss is just like this progression has like it's all culminated in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am like part of the game that I love.
Yes.
In a really huge way. And like that means a lot to me. Like that like this was just such a huge step, and I hope that this is only the beginning and that it only just keeps going up from here. Like if I can just keep doing this whole commentary thing and like going to other places and meeting new people, because like even the fact that like this one was like basically just at home, I was still able to make really great memories with like all these other people, even though it was in the place that like I recognize. And so I can only imagine like how much more fun or like how much of a amazing time I could have going to like other places and exploring other places. Like, yeah, it's been crazy.
I will say, and this is not biased in any way, there's no one out there that can do a better job of commentating wise than you. There really is no one. You are the best at it. So
Let's
I think
go.
Bushiroad knows that as well. You're just one of the best out there. Any last words, Simu?
Yeah, I'm very thankful as well that in spite of Bushiroad not giving me an opportunity to do what I usually do at Worlds, that, thank God I was able to attend and actually, in my own way. So, that's really, really appreciative, like, of, like, this opportunity, because, like, there are a ton of great Weiss players better than me, all over. And so, for me, I don't think that I got here on, like, my skill alone. I do think it's an opportunity that I'm very grateful and thankful to have. And it was just really nice being able to end my year off with, like, this competition. And especially after having judged like basically all of 2022, it was nice to be in the player's shoes again, and kind of just like prove that I'm not washed when it comes to playing the game. And yeah, I do hope that next year though I go back to judging. Like judging is just so much fun for me. Yeah, I would love to be able to judge at multiple Springfest, multiple BCS, obviously all the BRO, and then even a chance to judge at Worlds. I would much rather do that than play, but yeah, still really great to be able to be a part of this event. This event was just so much fun. I think, like, going into the event, I was like, okay, yeah, like, man, I would be so sad if I wasn't playing at this event. I feel like I would just be, like, so bedged. But then, like, after the event, I was like, man, that event was just great. I feel like, even if I just attended and wasn't actually able to play, I would have had still a blast just meeting all these people, just hanging out and stuff like that. So no, I was really this wonderful event. Like Bushiroad really did a great job. I think the event was like almost perfect, except we had 2 repairs in Weiss for some indescribable reason. But yeah, maybe they were missing a person on the staff that could have helped that situation out. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was really fun. I hope to attend Worlds in the future. Yeah.
In some capacity, right?
In some capacity, preferably in a judging capacity.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just really awesome that, the game that we've been a part of for all this time, all these years, we're contributing to it, right? Like, not only just participating as part of the community, but now in official capacities. Randall being the commentator, Simu actively helping judge the event and here as a world finalist. And then I'm just here chilling, but I'm still part of the community. Let's do. But I mean, to be kind of like more straight. I mean, the whole purpose of this channel is to grow the community and spread the game that I love to more people, right? So to see that there are people at these events that like recognize us and like that watch our videos. That they say that like, oh, I got into Wise, or like your deck profile really helped me out a lot, or that game you had against Randall was like super sick. These are the kind of things that like this is the reason why we do this channel, right? So honestly, I'm at a very high point in terms of where Wise is and where the community is, and I think there's only up from here. So the rest of the year is looking very promising, and I hope we can just basically do more of the same, honestly, because we're going on a pretty good path right now, for sure. All right.
Hey yo, and more of the new too. I would love to try some new stuff this year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year's gotta be more exciting than the last, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling for Worlds would be, I think, like the big thing. I think if we can go somewhere else, that'd be super sick. All right. Thank you guys for joining us for this BCS World Championship 2022 recap and reflections. This has been the Tressa's Collectibles team. Randall, aka Shizukats, Simu, aka Chairman, and myself, Mike, who I don't have a nickname. And we'll see you guys in the next stream, okay?